Hi, I want to talk to you today about a new bill that just passed. It's House Bill 2001. And it's another example of the state of Oregon creating a more unfriendly environment for landlords. And that's because they've rewritten the entire eviction process. They've taken measures and rules that had been applied during COVID, during the emergency period, and now they've made them permanent. And what this means for the housing market is that there are going to be landlords that are going to exit because why do they want to take the additional risk of making it more difficult to evict a tenant when they're not paying? They're already under the pressure of not receiving the income, and now they have to wait even longer. The other thing, and the other consequence of this, is that landlords are going to be taking on more risk. So what are they going to do? They're going to, increase the criteria they use for screening tenants, which if you've got a great, perfect application, probably doesn't matter to you. But for a lot of people who don't, these things are going to be meaningful. So now let's talk about some of these major changes. Now, one of the things that they changed is that you have to put a new disclosure or provide a new disclosure that provides resources to the tenant when you issue those non-payment notices. That's fine. That's great. We all want people to be educated. We want people to have resources. That's a good part of the bill, and it's about the only good part of the bill. What they've done, though, on top of this, is they've taken the notice period or the time frame you have to issue a notice and expanded it. So instead of it being a 72-hour notice or a 144-hour notice, you now have to send a 10-day notice or a 13-day notice. So your waiting period has gone up substantially before you can even issue this notice of non-payment. So you're going to have to wait longer. The other thing that they've done is that if you do end up filing for eviction, there's a step in this process called first appearance. And they've increased that timeline to 15 days, which is doubling what the current time frame is. So again, more waiting time. And then after first appearance, if you make it that far, or beyond I should say, and you actually go to trial, they've also doubled that timeline as well and increased it up to 30 days. So you've basically pushed out this whole process. You've doubled the time frame for this. So that's going to add cost. It's going to add all kinds of uncertainty and create opportunities for bad things to happen. Maybe the property gets damaged. Maybe it's abandoned, different things like that. So what's really happened here is the state legislature has doubled the timeline for landlords to recover property when a resident isn't paying. Now, one of the things that they've also done, which seems very unfair, is that if the tenant doesn't show up for trial, you don't automatically get a default judgment. Historically, that's what happened. You go to trial, tenant doesn't show up, you win. That's how it has been. Now the landlord has to also testify and go on record saying that, they have no reason to believe that possession's been returned, and they have every reason to believe that the tenant's still in possession of the property. So again, created more red tape, more barriers to recover property when the landlord's already suffering from not receiving payment. And for a lot of landlords, especially the landlords that have one property, they own a single family home, that can be really meaningful. They don't necessarily have the reserves to shoulder that. And then what comes with that oftentimes is they got to get the property rent ready again. They've got to advertise the property. There's cost associated with that. So this is really, unfortunately, a major step back for Oregon. It's a major step back for landlords. And it just proves that the governor, Tina Kotek, is not serious about solving this housing crisis. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're thinking about renting your property, we strongly encourage you to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about the rental market in Oregon, the advantages, the disadvantages, and help you out any way we can. Thank you for your time.